Ha 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 ha. Well, guess what? What's all the buzz about? So, yeah, we're back. We're back already. See, I told you I'd be doing more and more videos, right? This follows the last Monster Special Part 2, where I had 3 of my friends here, my local friends, in the hobby. And there was some cool kids here that love monster stuff as well. Those boys are monster kids, they're special kids. They are the sons of very, very close friends of mine, and it's so wild that they all love monsters and horror. And I'm like, can you imagine, like 25 years from now, they'll be like, do you remember we'd go to Rudy's house and he had that room with all those masks? Like, they're gonna think back to like this blowing their minds. I'm not like bragging here, but if I was 13 or 12 and I went to a place like this back then, I did though. I went to costume shops and I saw walls of masks, and here I am, right? So it's like, I think about that, like these kids, you know, when they're 50 years old, they're gonna go, man, do you remember going to Rudy's house? Crazy, you know? So it's cool to think of that. It's cool to think about that, the memories they will have of visiting this crazy place, you know? And boy, so we're back, and what's all the buzz about? Yes, The Fly. Back in the mid-'80s, Joe Reer was obsessed with bug and fly masks and making them. If you guys remember, he did an amazing mask called Bug, the green one, which I have right here. I should bring it out for this episode because it's only fitting. So, yeah, Joe Reer, I mean, he really made some amazing shit. And like I was saying in the last episode or two, it's not like there's a ton of people after his stuff. Very underrated in the community, in my opinion. But like I said, there's this handful of guys out there that know his masks, know his old catalogs, and search for the old stuff, you know. Frank had great Joe Reer pieces. He was friends with Joe. Joe was very good at making fly masks. And he was so good at making amazing bug eyes and putting the patterns and painting them, and it was quite cool, the ones he produced here. He was also into making antennas that went on after the fact. You could see all 3 of these have antennas that were casted separately, glued onto the masks, and just amazing stuff. So yeah, that's the Bug, which later was produced by Death Studios, if you remember. This was in Jeff's old mid-'80s catalogs, I think, a few of them. But I had to start off by showing you these cool flies. In fact, this one right here on your right was a special order, like special edition piece. This there's a catalog sheet, a Xerox catalog sheet, where this guy and this guy were side by side, and they were like deluxe things you could order from Joe Reer. You know, they're flocked. They're both flocked with, like, do you know what that means? Where the mask, the actual rubber of the mask, has like a almost velvet touch to it, because he put like some sort of glue down and put a fine material, almost like a velvet particle, that's stuck over all of it, and it feels like velvet. Yes. And Wasn't easy cleaning that. I carefully cleaned it. I didn't want to mess it up. But I may give it one more once over. But that's flocked. And this one is not flocked. But this one's getting some age problems. You know, if you guys look closely, this mask is getting age cracks. See, this was never stuffed from the inside. Gravity. See that? See, I can see the old rubber, the unpainted rubber. Like, it's like, what people don't realize is, you know, this mask sat in Frank's collection since he bought it from Joe Reeder in probably 1984, roughly, 84, 85, I don't know. But Frank was good about displaying his masks on what he called a wig head, which would be a styrofoam head. He painted them black, thank goodness, most of them. He encased them in a heavy black paint. The ones that he did not do this to were destroyed. That's why I tell people, like, mask on a wig head for 30 to 40 years, yeah, it's going to dry it out, and that's going to happen. It's going to react slowly. I see that with my own eyeballs. I'm like, well, all of these aren't bad, but the ones on the white styro heads were totally effed. So anyway, Frank was good about sticking them on something like a head like this, but they weren't stuffed with plastic bags in the empty spacing, okay? You can have a mask on a head, but there's lots of empty space around that head, okay? Even if you use plastic bottles or paper towel holders like I do, you need to stuff those masks solid if they're not foam filled, because the problem is gravity literally takes over, and this rubber is going to droop over time. It's going to slowly, the weight, you know, this is heavy. In a sense, it's heavy, and it's slowly gravity's going to pull the mask down. I've had werewolves where the whole front of the face is drooping down over time. It's just like gravity stretches that rubber. You'll see the eye holes getting oblong. It's crazy. Something novice collectors would never, ever, ever, ever think about. But gravity is like the #1 killer. One of the top killers of masks. But that is why you're seeing that spacing I told Frank's brother at the top of these eyes, okay? It's not like these eyes moved much, but the entire face was drooping from gravity, okay? It's getting slight cracks. This mask was not stuffed properly. It was on a wig head, but like I said, there's empty space between the wig head and the mask, you know, spacing. If Frank would have stuffed that really nice and solid with, you know, paper, like newspaper or something, you know, that really aids in not letting your masks do this over decades and decades. This one is in pretty darn good condition, thank goodness. That's a pinball machine in there. But anyway, just something that you guys need to keep in, take in consideration, especially if you're lifers, what we call lifers in this hobby, where you are in this for the long haul. I get guys, guys love to criticize my thoughts on the whole styrofoam head thing, and think I'm crazy. I've had them for 14 years on styrofoam heads. There ain't nothing wrong with my masks. Yeah, because that ain't enough time for what I explain happens to masks. That's not enough time. It's the masks I've seen on heads for 30 plus years. 30, 35, 40 years. Yeah, there are collectors out there that have had masks on heads for 40 years, and one of them is Frank. And dude, I've seen it over and over with my own eyeballs. I wouldn't sit here looking like a fool to some people, not that I give a crap, if I wasn't telling you what I see with my own eyes, okay? Anyway, funny story about these paper towel holders. Aren't these nice? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? This is heavy heavy metal, right? And they're black. Way back around 2008, maybe, roughly. Something like that, 2009. I saw one of these at a Target. And I go, wow, this is what I was really into. Like, I want to display masks properly. And I was one of those psychos, like, I got to find the right mask stand. I've just got to find the right mask stand. Now I don't. I use just plastic bottles from my coffee creamer that's empty. Like, oh, perfect. A little water in the bottom. I don't need fancy stands. But these are badass. They're black. They're heavy. They're not going to topple over. And I noticed Target would have 3 of them in stock. I would walk into a Target, because not everyone's buying paper towel racks and stands. I would run to the home goods section, and I go, 1, 2, 3, and I'd put them on the thing, and the girl would look at me like, I'm like, oh, I have a restaurant. I'm buying those up. Oh, cool. No, I'm a psycho. I collect rubber heads. But anyway, I would buy them. I would drive to another Target, a town or 2 over, and another Target, and another Target. If I was on the road going to Chicago, I would stop at random Targets, and they always had 3 of them in stock. And I was cleaning out Target stores of these. They're probably like, what is going on here? You know, the people in charge of this stuff, shipping them to Target, the manufacturers, like, what? Why is there an influx of these paper towel things getting bought up in the Midwest? It's very bizarre. And I have a lot of them here. There's a lot of them. I bought up so many. Target quit selling them. Yes. So I doubt you will find them anywhere, but I've bought so many for so long. Target no longer carries them anymore. I'm not saying nationwide I did that, but I put a dent in their paper towel holder supply. Yeah, not to mention, Joe Reeder also made one of the coolest fly claws of all time. Look at this. It's just beautiful. It's so creepy in the movie when his hand comes out at first and you see the fly claw. You're like, oh my God, you know. That was very shocking stuff. And you're like, oh, horrifying. Shut up! Horrifying to see that back then. I gotta know if I'm wrong or right. I gotta know if I'm correct here with my... I don't think it was 1959. I think it was 1961, The Fly. And I love Return the Fly. Return the Fly with Vincent Price. Yeah, Return of the Fly. That's the Misfits. Don't I sound exactly like... Oh, it's from 1986. Never mind. No, hold on. That's one thing that drives me insane. Like, if there's a great classic horror film and you would be able to Google stuff from it at any time, all these years, right? And then some horseshit like reboot comes out with the same name. Every time you go to look up anything around that film, you'll get the new shit every time. You're like, I don't want that. I want the classic. Where the... Oh. 1958. I was way off. Why was I saying 61? 58. Hold on. Return of the Fly. Return of the Fly was 59. I've got that poster. Oh, yes, I do. Hey, since we're talking about flies, let's pull out the old Don Post. This is a Reer mask, kids. Reer. Is this a cool sight or what? This is really neat. Seeing this. Mint 70s fly claw. Oh yes. Damn, look at that. Now that is cool. Aaron Brooks, eat your heart out. He's always about flies. Everyone's like, all these guys all email at once. I saw you have those new fly masks. They don't know that there's 5 men all emailing at once. Like, if you get rid of those, let me know. I'm like, all right, I know. But there's so many guys want these fly masks. And you could see why. They're just cool as hell. What's so cool on Joe Reeder's is, you know, he must have used some kind of fabric, you know, that to put over the lenses that was full of holes, almost like you know, like an 80s mesh top or something, full of holes. Something, he had to use something to make these cool patterns, because that's painted on. You could feel it. You could see the paint, you know, like that was sprayed on there, which is so neat. I'd love to know what he used, but pretty cool. And that goes way back to, you know, automobile customization in the 50s, you know, mid 50s, late 50s. Guys were taking, they're called like lace painting, where they take lace, like doilies, you know what doilies are, and they would put them on cars, like old 50s Mercuries and shit, and make these cool patterns with the lace, you know, lace paint. There's candy paint, you know, candy colors. But that is nothing new. That was something that dates way back to custom car painting. So cool to see that type of technique used on masks. The old Don Post version just has these cool shiny lenses, which were very effective and look great. This poor mask, you know, all the fly masks, they're so old. They really wilt and they all have problems, but this one is not bad. I need to try to foam fill this sucker so it lives on. I need to heat this up by the old fireplace. This should be floured out. You know, it's all sunken in because of gravity. Gravity, you could see where it actually pulled the whole thing down. This whole thing should be up a little more and out at you. Aaron Brooks worked on one recently. He got it all floured out. The fly's, you know, mouth thingy, whatever you call it. But cool stuff to start off with, huh? The work of Joe Reeder and Don Post Studios right there, guys. Cool. Which is your favorite? It's hard to pick a favorite. These were all Frank's. All three of these were Frank's. And Frank loved The Fly and Return of the Fly. He was a huge Vincent Price fanatic. Yeah, Frank was a big fan of the films. Awesome, huh? Yeah, in fact, the 77 Fly I'm putting away now is still on a styrofoam head, a black styrofoam head Frank painted, because it won't come off of it until I do freaking surgery, as usual. As usual, because the masks don't come off of them. This is on a styrofoam head. It won't come off. I'm going to have to carefully get in there and dissect that old styro head to get it out of this mask. So, you know, I don't just make this stuff up, you guys. Those heads are terrible. For many reasons, multiple reasons. So I'm going to show you a top stone mask that's extremely rare tonight. I'm also going to show you a mask that was sent to me by a viewer and follower of the old Instagram, which is awesome. I got a free mask in the mail, and I am going to show it to you guys because it's pretty awesome. Maybe we should jump right to it, because it's something that I get from time to time. I get people, they'll hit me up on Instagram like, hey, can I send you one of my masks, or can I send you my product, our toy, our lunchbox, you know, just cool stuff. Will you talk about it on the channel, or they just want to send me a gift and be nice, you know, which is awesome. I love getting stuff sent to me. And this gentleman hit me up. He's a mask maker. So a gentleman by the name a gentleman by the name of Aaron hit me up on Instagram. He's like, hey, I want to send you one of my masks. Like, he was going to send me a random one. Here's his Instagram. I'm going to put it on the screen for all of you to see. Midnight Creep Studio. His name is Aaron. Aaron, I can't thank you. This is really great. So, Aaron, what's his last name? I can't read his writing. Aaron Carnathan. Carnathan? Aaron Carnathan. Aaron! Sorry, Aaron. But here's his Instagram. Midnight Creep Studio. Yeah, I had no clue what this mask was going to look like. I didn't even know at the time his style of masks. I follow a lot of people. I have a lot of mask makers follow me, and let me say something. I don't always see everyone that's following me, okay? And there's so many amazing, talented mask makers that are following me, and I just don't always see your stuff. I don't always see your pages, so don't take it personally if I'm not following you back. In time, I usually stumble upon people's pages like, holy shit, look at this guy. Oh, he's following me. And then I'll follow, you know? So I like to try to follow as many people as I can that are in this whole hobby, and especially if they make really great stuff. Midnight Creep Studio does just that. So he says, this is Fengler the Assessor. Yes. There was a bit of a mishap with the mold, and this is the first pull. So the top of the head is a little funky. Anyway, hope you like it. Stay creepy. Aaron, MCS. So the mask was like in plastic, and I looked in the box, I go, holy shit, is that really cool? Like, I instantly, before I even unwrapped it, I go, this looks really cool. It's something that like fits right into my collection, okay? So you never know what people are gonna send you, you know? And this mask, woohoo, is badass. So look at this. I was like surprised. Not surprised, like meaning no one out there can make good masks. I was like surprised how cool it was. And it totally reminds me of vintage, like stuff on these rows here. Like a lot of these independent masks from back in the day. It fits that era of what I love. That early 80s, you know, late 70s, early 80s stuff when David Smith and, you know, Jordu was making the Weirdum stuff. This looks like some old alien looking guy. This looks like it would totally have been made back then, which is amazing. I love the way this... Shut up! I love how this dark paint comes up. The paintwork is really cool, and all around, like there's veining, there's layers to the paint. He's got cool, like reddish maroon, like kind of hidden in there. When you turn it, you'll see colors pop out a little more. Jesus, man, it's not stop, guys. It drives me insane. Confirming for you. Figured I would show you. Oh boy, I love the little ear here too. Cool. Do you guys see what I'm saying? It looks. Oh, look at the black on the back too. That's cool. The different coloring going on in this alien dude. Nice detailing in his face. Do you see what I'm saying though? Does that not look, you know, something straight out of like 82? That's why I love it. I mean, I love it for different reasons, but that is really cool, dude. I was really surprised when I opened that box. So thank you. That was awesome getting something like that, you know, a surprise like that. And it's definitely getting stuck in here somewhere amongst, like, you know, amongst similar type of monsters. You know, back these days, when I was looking at this, I was thinking how these days there's lots of mask makers making like real bright day glow type stuff, you know, and it works on certain artist stuff. But if you look back at the old days, you know, the old the old days of alien masks and aliens in movies, and the guys that were making the masks that were watching those movies at the time, and some of the guys making the masks were also making the monsters in those movies at the time. So the color palettes were a lot like this. You know, they were more realistic, and that is what I like a lot. So this is so cool. I know my buddy Dino's gonna like this. Right, Dino? I'm sure you like this. What about Luca? Luca, you like this one? All right. Now I want to show you a really rare Topstone mask that's been bouncing around this collection for a long time. I'm thinking of selling it because I'm never going to get to fixing it up. This is so rare, I've only seen 2 ever. Mine and probably another one that was on eBay. He's got black hair. And he's got a big wound down the middle of his head. Have you seen this mask before? You may have seen it in a plastic vacuum form version, but the rubber version like this, it's even tagged. And it's, unfortunately, it has like a split down his top of his wound on his head, which isn't the end of the world. He's got some hardness here around the eye. This mask, it's got a couple little holes here. This one and another one, this is how when I tell people keep masks away from heat registers and blowing air out of heat, you know, air conditioning vents in your home. This is why. This mask used to be mint, mint, mint. And within a month or 2, this happened from moving air. Air constantly blowing and hitting this mask. He's soft with the exception of over his eye now, and this is hardened, and that top of his head split. He needs to be patched, foam filled, and carefully mounted. That is one rare Topstone. It's called like axe head or some weird name like that. But this mask, you're not gonna see. I mean, maybe you'll see one. I don't know. But the other mask that was in front of this, I still get ill over the thought of losing the other one because it is so rare and so cool. It was the Topstone mask where the guy had like boils all over his face and they were all multicolored. It's so rare. It almost looks like a bunch of pimples almost, but they were green and red and oh my God, what was that mask called? I bought one of the only mint copies I've ever seen of that mask. Ever. When I picked it up, it was like in a room over here where the door was open and the air register was blowing into that room. When I picked that mask up, it crumbled in my hands like Swiss cheese, like, and it was like 2 months, maybe 3 months of sitting where I put them in there. And that moving air did that. Do not have your masks under ceiling fans, under heat registers where there's air moving through your house, because that's what happens, guys, and it will make you sick. I still get sick over that other Topstone was one of my favorite masks of all time. Anything else we can look at? This is just a quick episode. There's so much new stuff still from Frank's that we haven't talked about or looked at. I will show you a cool piece that is actually from a production of a film, an old movie from 1986. It's a pre-production maquette. I put this thing in the practical effects group, and it started a discussion like wildfire. So there was a movie called From Beyond from 1986, and those of you, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. But this, look at this. This was in Frank's house on a TV stand, caked with dust. It was so dusty 5 or 6 years ago when I first saw it. It was in that room that was sealed off for 9 years. It was so caked with dust I couldn't even see what it was. I was like, what is that? And I cleaned it off, and I'm like, holy shit, I know what that's from. It's from the film From Beyond. Dr. Pretorius, I believe his name was. Watch the movie. It's a weird one. You'll like it. Totally 80s horror. But this piece, a lot of people in the thread are like, that came directly from, God, what were they saying? 195 likes on the post. And they were saying it was definitely sculpted by MMI, the guys at MMI. Buchler's shop made mini versions of some creatures. Well, there's a whole thread on the practical effects group on this little piece. Yeah, Mark Sjostrom, Robert Kurtzman and I sculpted the full-size version of this character. All these guys were chiming in, all these practical effects dudes. It was so cool seeing all of them talk about it. There's several different names guys were dropping in this thread of who could have sculpted this one. Mitch Devane sculpted this stage of the transforming Dr. Pretorius. John Vulich may have assisted. There's like so many guys talking about this whole thing. Anyway, it's totally, this isn't like some, masks someone made. It is so detailed. It's like a pre-production study maquette to study this thing for the film. Part of that whole production process of making practical effects at the time. So the funny thing is, this thing is so detailed. There's some bizarre shit going on with the sculpture. And I want you to see, that is old foam, guys. Okay? Some people are like, how do you know it's not new? How do you know that's not brand new out of a mold? How do I know? Many reasons. First of all, it came out of Frank's house, where it was caked with dust for at least 10 years that I knew of, which means it probably got to his house in the late 80s. It probably has been sitting at Frank's since the late 80s on the same TV stand for decades. I know the origins, where it came from. I don't know how Frank got it, but he had this forever. Number two, it's old. You could tell. It's not hard or nothing. It's aged latex rubber. It's aged. And number three, you can't fake that, dude. That is old, decades old foam fill. It's just, his hair was a little crazier when I got him. But it's awesome. When you start studying the transforming Pretorius here, you will notice some bizarre, you see a little boobage here, but up here, whoa! There's a boho, and then you got some sackage with a little, must be really cold where that guy's from. Maybe he's from Alaska. Maybe he's from the North Pole, but that's a little sack. Nutsack. Looks like a brain. Nutsack. Butt. Looks like almost a nose up here. Anyway, watch the film. That'll be your assignment. Watch From Beyond from 1986. I'm sure a lot of you will know the movie. But this is this has punched hair. Aged, everything's aged paint. The clear coat on the teeth and eyes has yellowed. It doesn't get any older than that. Like, those are the clues. How do you know it's not brand new out of a mold? Oh, well, genius. How many clues do you want? Anyway, it's cool as hell. So cool, I had a guy jump on and go, I'll give you $2,500 for that. I go, holy shit, dude. All right. He goes, oh, I worked on the movie, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, using the practical effects group. Now that night, I'm like, he goes, oh, I drank NyQuil. It's kind of a weird night. I'm like, okay. He goes, hit you up tomorrow. I'm like, okay, tomorrow comes. Oh, well, oh, man, it's such a hectic day. I will pay you tonight. I'm like, all right, tonight's great. Which comes to the next day and the next day. And I'm finally like, you're not buying this, are you? Because now another guy from Germany says, all right, I'll give you $2,500 for it. I'm like, you will? Okay. And the guy kept insisting on, I need an invoice. I need an invoice from a business. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, dude, you can trust to buy this from me. I know everybody. I know we've got 35 mutual friends. You're friends with Casey Love. I go to Casey Love, see if I'm okay to send $2,500 to, and he'll say, hell yeah. No, that's not good enough. So he sends me the payment through this thing called Square. He wanted me to join Square. I didn't know what Square was. I don't use that for my business. He goes, just, start an account. That way you can give me an invoice through Square. I'm like, how hard can it be? I go to Square, and this stupid Square thing wants my business records, my tax records, like fucking all this private information. I go, I'm not doing this to sell something to you. Like, this is crazy, dude. I'm refunding it. I'm like, you gotta understand, this is insane. You know how many deals I've done? Hundreds and hundreds, probably 1,000 PayPal deals on masks. I've never had to jump through hoops like that. I go, I'll send you a PayPal invoice. Let's get this done. Okay, Rudy. Oh, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to ship it to Germany on my FedEx account. Okay. Hey, your FedEx account number is not working right. I put it in the system. It won't work. Oh, okay. I'll just ignore you for 4 days. Hey, you going to buy it? I know it's been 6 days. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely buying it. I'm definitely buying it, so you can send it to Germany. Day 9, day 10. No. Block. I blocked him. It's on eBay right now. So if you guys want, it's on eBay. It's a great piece. I don't need to sell it, but I figured somebody in the practical effects world, the prop collecting world, would appreciate it more than I would. I think it's awesome because I know the film and I brought it home from Frank's. But I don't have it up for $2,500. I have it up for a lot less. But I'm shocked it hasn't sold yet. But that's really, really cool. Hey, I can't seem to see the PayPal button. I don't know where it's at to pay you. I don't know how to pay PayPal. Oh, I don't trust you. You only have 1,500 friends. Oh. I cleaned up a Rare Death Studios mask that came from Frank's. And I got him on a different type of display. I may as well show him to you because he was on the channel before. But the mask was very dirty. The Mad Jack, the really rare Mad Jack, early 80s, I think it's early 80s to mid 80s. Could be 85-ish, I don't remember. But it did not come with this stuff, the clothing portion. Pretty sure that was either purchased by Frank or it was made by Frank's, tailor guy. It's really big and the Velcro's worn out. So I just kind of have it sitting on there. But this mask, it's in great condition. He should kind of be foam filled. He's a half mask. He's got eye inserts. The eye inserts really make this mask. And it looks better if he's filled out a little bit. When he's real skinny like that, it doesn't look right. But he needs to be, just the right proportions. But this thing, he was really dirty. I just wanted to show you how nice that Mad Jack cleaned up because that is one Rare Death Studios mask. I do want to keep the clothing thing. I just want to kind of safety pin it behind him, But cool clown from Death Studios. The old Night Beast up there. He's quietly, just patiently waiting to get worked on. It's been a very busy summer. And before you know it, fall's going to be right back, That's the crazy thing about getting old Yeah, I'm 51. I'll be 52 in December. I don't feel like an old person. But when I was a kid, a 50-year-old, you'd be like, he's 50. Holy shit. I think of my dad's 50th birthday when we had over-the-hill birthday cards and everything was black. Black cards and black balloons. And I was like, wow, he's 50. Now I'm like, holy shit, I'm 50? That's insane. It's so bizarre. It's kind of weird, you know? But, yeah, the older you get, the time flies real fast. So enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. A year used to take forever as a child. Christmas used to take forever to show up. Now it's like, I feel like, did I just put the Christmas tree away? Like we're just pulling all this stuff out. I felt like I just put it away. You know, that's the crazy part. When you're starting to put decorations away and pull out the other ones, it's like, I feel like I just did this, you know. Did you guys like that last video where I had Lou and Brad and Kevin was here? Good dudes, good friends. I love good people, you know. I love people that love the stuff I do. They all obviously do, but what a great group of guys. So, God, I want to show another mask from Frank's collection, but I'm like, did we show it? Did we show it? I don't think we did. I kept eyeballing this amazing zombie from 77 zombie. Some people think it's overrated. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. 1977 zombie. The Lucio Fulci classic. Yes. This mask, however, so this was up on the top of a metal cabinet at Frank's. It was very dusty and dingy. It sat around for a long time in the dark in a basement. And I kept looking, I go, man, it's actually really nice. Like, it's really quality. The sculpture, the paint on it. Oh, that thing is pretty badass, right? And I decided to bring it home. The worms look really cool and real, like they're actually coming out of the mask. I'm like, who the hell made this? And I would just see Boris. Okay? I'm like, who the hell's Boris? And for the longest time, I had no idea who made this. And turns out, this whole time I knew who made it. I just didn't know. He used to go by the name Boris when he was sculpting masks back in the day. And that gentleman, his name is Chuck Jarman. Chuck made the amazing Pennywise clown that I showed you guys recently. Chuck made this back when he went under the pen name, the sculpture name of Boris, making masks. So just one badass mask I want to close out this video with. Way more coming from the Frankenstein. Dude, Aaron, thank you again for this awesome piece. And guys, fall is coming. I'm so excited. And you know what that means. Halloween is in the air. Will we do the 31 days? We skipped it last year. I think I owe it to you. I'll see you soon with more mask videos. And thanks for watching. So good night. I was speeding that up because the battery's dying. So I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but we will film really quick because we got 2% left. But yeah, Chuck nailed it. This is badass. I always hated I sold my copy by Justin Mabry. It was so beautiful. But now I have a wonderful replacement here. And this is here to stay. Everything about it. It's killer, man. It looks like it's right out of the damn movie. Very, very nice. Boris, you did a great job. Good night.